Hey guys, so welcome back to a bonus episode of Boba With Board. Today we are joined by us.
My first official PCN experience was like during my second year of college. However, like my first technical experience with PCN was during first year when a good friend of mine, Nathan Barble, actually reached out to me to ask me to be in the house band for the show. I had already joined PAC, but I wasn't, I hadn't heard about PCN because I wasn't very active during my first year. And so he asked me if I wanted to play percussion in the house band. I was like, oh yeah, for sure, I'm down. I never went to any practices. I only showed up literally the day before the show because it was tech day at the CPAC, and I saw like how much really went into the show. There were so many people that like did all the cultural dances, and then like the skit that year was really interesting. And I just remember being so captivated watching the show from the pit, and I was like, wow, I'm so set, I'm gonna do this next year. And then fast forward into like winter break, I decided that I wasn't going to do PCN because I wasn't too sure about like whether or not the show would take place like during spring break, because that's when it happened like the previous year. But my friend Jasmine Malaiba dragged me over to her skit audition. It was the very first audition that they had for skit that year, and that's where I met up again with Jordan, who was one of the PCN courts at the time, and he told me, oh yeah, the show is going to be in April this year, it's not going to be in March. I said, oh, okay, so maybe I'll come out for intro week next week. And so yeah, I came out and I joined rural and Spanish, and I really fell in love with the entire production. That's why I've been here for the past 4 or 5 years now.
Wow, that's very interesting. Like, I didn't know that you actually joined like which one did you
for the house band?
Yeah,
that was for PCN 30. But I know that your first PCN experience was like very different. I feel like for most people.
For a lot of people. So for my experience, I actually didn't know about PCN. I only knew of PAC, and I wasn't really in PAC. So my cousin Doris, who was mountain cord for PCN 31, she was the only one in the position, so she didn't have a co. So they were looking for coach, and she talked to me and asked me if I wanted to be a co, because we dance mountain outside of school for our family. We have another organization that we're part of outside of school. I was really hesitant of picking out her offer just because I was trying to get into the nursing program at this time, and man, it was tough. It was difficult, and I didn't know if I had time to. Somehow, I don't know how she convinced me to just join PCN. So I literally went in as my first time PCN as a sweet cord, and I did not know what I was getting into, to be honest with you. Like, we had these practices like for PCF, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is pretty easy. And then come PCN season, and like there's so many dancers, and man, it was just very like different and like humble experience to be a part of PCN. So yeah, I basically joined PCN, and I was like, what is PCN? I don't know what this is. I've never danced at PCN before, and yeah, honestly, I just really enjoyed it. I never expected the end product to be that massive, that scale of a production, and because of like what I felt at the end of the show, I came back and again and yeah, now I'm here.
Yep. Like, my instinct is literally just to go with rural, just because it was the first suite that I really like fell in love with, and it really sparked like my interest in learning about like my Filipino heritage and stuff like that, just because of the spirit of the suite itself. It's very positive and very uplifting, and like with the story of it being the barrio suite, like the people that do these dances, like they don't really have very much in terms of material possessions in life. They're very much like into the idea of making sure to celebrate what they have rather than like commiserating over what they don't have. And that really resonates with me as like one of the biggest parts of Filipino culture, just being there for each other and being grateful for what you have and stuff.
For me, I'm sure you already know what my favorite suite is. I'm sure everyone knows, but it's Mountain Sweet, just because I am part of the culture that Mountain like represents. So it's called the Igorot culture, and that's where actually I was born in. I was born in Baguio, which are in the mountain regions of the Philippines, and I wasn't always dancing our dances. I only started dancing around high school. That's when my parents really like wanted me to start taking part in the culture and started learning more about it. So I started in high school doing dances like for family parties and stuff. And yeah, I don't know, it's always been part of me. And I'm really glad I joined PCN because I feel like if I didn't, I wouldn't be as into mountain or the Igorot culture as I am now.
For this PCN season, I feel like a bunch of other people on board have like given this answer, but it's so true. I feel like I'm really looking forward to really just the overall experience, because every PCN experience is different because every cast is different. As old cast members retire and as new cast members come in, and as new board retires and a new board comes in, there's just so many different dynamics that come into play when we're putting together this show. And so I'm really looking forward to basically just seeing how this season in itself is just going to go, because I've fallen in love with the show more and more every single show that I've been a part of. And so yeah, I'm excited to see what will help me fall in love with the show again this year.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
So for me, this is going to be my last PCN, and I'm just really looking forward to just making the most out of this. So I'm going to be graduating this semester, so it's my last PCN. I'm not going to be in long beach anymore, but I just really want to take it in and enjoy what honestly has been like a highlight of my college life. So just meeting new people, just making connections with everybody and seeing what we have in store for this PCN. And especially for our positions as archives, I do want to like really raise the bar and really like put out some good content for our whole cast to see. Honestly, I'm really, from what I've like seen so far, I'm really thinking that this PCN is going to be like one of my favorites, if not the most favorite I've been part of. So,
Okay.
yeah. Yes.
All right, so to take a step away from PCN and to let the audience get to know us a little bit more, what's one thing that not many people actually know about you?
Not many people know that I'm actually like a really goofy and like wacky kind of dude. Only my close friends know this, just because I don't really act this way around other people. For me, I've always been like an introverted kind of guy, but joining PCN and really putting myself out there in college, I'm still introverted, but I feel like I have more extroverted tendencies now, and that really helped me express my who I am as a goofy guy. And so yeah, I've started acting myself around more people more, as you've seen.
Yeah, no, like literally, I've known you for a good 3 years now, and just the past few months, I've seen sides of you that I've never ever seen before.
Yeah. Okay, so when we were both on board for 32, how different was that compared to I am now?
I definitely saw you as the guy that would literally just like keep their head down and do their work and like leave. Like I don't remember ever having like a conversation with you, except for when it came to our mutual friend, my auditing Farah, because you guys were both applying for the nursing program at the same time. But we never talked.
Oh really? I didn't know.
Ever.
I don't know, I've always been introverted, like especially my first year in PCN and kind of my second year. I've got it from my dancers that they told me I had like a RBF, and so they were like really intimidated to talk to me. And yeah, I can totally feel where you come from on that part. But yeah, so don't be afraid to talk to me. I'm goofy guy. All right, how about you?
One thing that not many people would know about me is that the name that I go by now is not my birth name.
That I've heard you talk about it before.
Yeah. So my name is Zachary Eric Rosales, but it's only been that since March of 2017, because I had legally changed my name from my birth name, and my birth name was Eric Zachary Mica. I had switched my first and middle name, and then I took on my mom's maiden name as my last name. Only like a few people from PAC actually like know me or like knew me as Eric, and most of them now have like already graduated and moved on. There's really only like one person I think that's around still that like knew me as Eric, and it was Jordan. It was really refreshing to come to this new community and not have like this preconceived notion of like who I was or who I am and stuff like that. It was really cool to like have like a clean slate when I joined.
May I ask why the name change?
It's a really long story, but it really just boils down to I wanted my name to honor the people who raised me and the people who helped form me into the individual that I am today. And so that's why I wanted to change my last name to Rosales, because it was really my mom's side of the family who raised me to be who I am. And I was actually supposed to originally be named Zachary because my my brother actually wanted me to be named after a Power Ranger. And so yeah, he wanted my name to be Zach after the original Black Ranger. But my mom like changed her mind at the last minute, and she was like, Zachary's a really long name, especially like when he goes to school, his name is going to be Zachary Cabico, and he's going to have a hard time trying to learn how to write his name. By the time he's finished, everyone else will be finished with their tests. And so yeah.
So for me, I started out with photography. I feel like I've always been like really into the artsy kind of stuff. Like I've always been into film and capturing moments, so I've always had that as a background. But how I really started getting into photography is not actually with a camera, but I actually started like, I asked my friend, because I wanted to up my Instagram game.
Yeah.
So I asked I asked my friend, because he was into photography at that time.
Yeah.
And so I asked him to like take pictures of me as I model. And so yeah, we started doing that for like about a good 2 months, and then I started really getting interested in how he operated the camera. I asked him questions like, what does this do? How does it work? How do you get like the exposure right? And from then, I ended up like borrowing my camera from my parents' camera because they never really used it anymore. It was a Nikon like D5300. And so yeah, I just took a camera. I went shooting with my friend in Santa Ana, and from there I really just started like practicing my photography. And the more I practiced with it, the more I fell in love with it. And I eventually bought my own camera, a Sony A7 III, and then from then I started taking portraits of other people, and they asked me to like grab pics, and I just fell in love with photography, like capturing those moments. I know for you, you're more into the videography side, so how did that start for you?
Well, for me, like I've always been really interested in digital media, but I never really thought that it was something that I had like the courage to kind of pursue or anything like that. Because I grew up like obviously in the huge like boom of the digital like YouTube era, especially like growing up in like the late 2000s, early 2010s with like the huge boom of Asian American YouTube. It really opened my eyes to the fact that there were like a ton of different options out there in terms of telling stories and being on camera and stuff like that. But I never really thought that I had the courage to be on camera, and I didn't really know how I would be able to get that sort of experience elsewhere until I officially joined for PCN 31. My rural court at the time, Jamie, was also archives court, and she had made an announcement after practice 1 week and was like, hey, we're looking for more people to join archives committee. If you're interested, like let me know. And so I had recently like just gotten like a point and shoot camera that was like made to look like a DSLR, which honestly it was a really bad camera.
What camera was this?
It was like it wasn't even like a Sony or a Canon. It was like a GE camera, like the same company that makes like washing machines and fridges. So yeah, like I'd gotten that camera, and I was really interested in like joining, and so from there I really fell in love with videography, and more specifically video editing. It was during that year that we'd started doing the Sweet Spotlights, and the Sweet Spotlights were like literally my baby. It was my idea that Jamie and JK trusted me to work on by myself, and so I was working on those videos, interviewing all the sweet chords and filming all the B-roll by myself and editing all of those videos up until the day before the show when I finally uploaded skits. And so I really fell in love with with using video as a medium of telling a story and getting across a message to a larger audience, which is why I applied for this position that I'm in today, and why I've fallen in love with videography, and why I've started to pursue other sorts of ways of using a camera and all that good stuff.
Dang. So you were doing more before than we started.
I was doing more before 34.